Hi. Thank you. Here we are. It is 10:01. Good evening. Welcome. Hello, Rodney and Cecilia Grace and everybody watching on YouTube. So grateful for you for watching live. And if you're listening to Moon Magic and Mindfulness with Grace on the Spotify app, I'm also so grateful for you for tuning into the replay that is available pretty much the day after we do this live together as a community. And if you want to join the show on stage, then you do need to download the Fireside Chat app, which I would be so grateful if you joined us, right? So all of the links are available pretty much. Let's see, on the link in the description below or in my link tree, everywhere where you can find it, or you can subscribe to the newsletter, and all the links for you to join this show and be a part of it and join the conversation. Everything is there. So welcome. Good evening. It is April. Oh my goodness. Let's take a breath. It's like, I feel like it's been a marathon coming to April, yet here we are. Quarter one of the year just went by so fast, and so many things have been a very interesting blur, and some other things have been a very interesting journey of figuring it out and disentangling all of it. I feel like we've talked about this for a few weeks now. And this week is actually pretty intense, I feel like, with what's happening astrologically. So please check out your astrology, tune in with the spirits, send out a little prayer, and hold space for a lot, because it's going to be happening all week long. With the moon too. Forget about the astrology. The moon is enough of it all this week. We have a full moon happening in Libra. And then right after the full moon in Libra, we go into the moon in Scorpio, which we've talked about before. So we will begin with Moon Day. Obviously, we're going to go back to the beginning and really bring this to the beginning of the conversation the way it should be. And the Moon Day happening right now, as it is Monday. I'm just taking a second really quick to everybody, and I wonder how is your technology performing? How is your technology doing? I've heard a lot of glitches happening, and Pluto in Aquarius for the first time in a very long time will impact technology at large. So that's what some of the things that are happening currently out there in the sky. But let's begin. Welcome, Carletta. Rowena is here. Hi, Rowena. Good morning to you. Happy Tuesday. All over the world. Well, I was going to say all the way over there in Australia. There you go. And then my tongue just said all over. All the way over there in Australia, Rowena. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing? I am sending you love and healing and so much happiness. There you go. Yes. So the full moon in Libra. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Rowena says hello to everybody. So let's just begin, everybody. Welcome. Thank you, Curtis. I'm so happy that you joined us. And Carletta, thank you that you're here. And Cecilia and everyone else. So, Rodney, my name is Graciela Moore, and in Moon Magic and Mindfulness with Grace, we like to talk about where the moon is every day and how that may affect us. And we also like to talk about some of the context of where the moon is, like, for example, today it's in Virgo, yes, and that means something. But the fact that it's a waxing gibbous may also give us a little bit more of, I don't know, an effect, an energy, if you want to call it that, or a context. I like to call it a context, something to go by, if you will. And the waxing gibbous today says to take time to organize the chaos. And this is really coming from, see, here's the thing about this show, which I don't know, it's kind of counterproductive or super cool or just a fact. And that is that the previous episode really helps to build this one, and so on and so forth, because we're following our own timelines, and it's very interesting how that happens. And so the time to organize the chaos comes from the fact that we had a previous pretty tough 2 weeks, yet preceded by a previous just 12 weeks in general since we started the year. And we've discussed a lot of things like Mars in retrograde forever since October until March, and other things, right? And so the moon in Virgo is what's calling you to make sense of it all. And making sense of it all is really about also that emotional intelligence and being in the level of awareness to really be in control. And if you're listening, I'm saying that with air quotations, right? Because what's control? Um, but however, control is an illusion. Fine, we could go down that rabbit hole and talk about how control is an illusion, just like time is a man-made construct, right? Um, but we won't get into that. Taking time to organize the chaos, right? So that really demands kind of a conversation with yourself or a conversation with someone you trust. It demands some kind of holding space for uncomfortable um, feelings or uncomfortable, what's the word? Just kind of stickiness. The stickiness that comes from looking at the drama and making sense of the drama in order to organize the chaos. And that's what the moon in Virgo, I feel like, sometimes calls us to do. And I mentioned this last week. I actually love starting the week with the moon in Virgo or a moon in Capricorn or a moon in Taurus, because earth signs tend to be really structured and productive in the way that they handle the order of things. Thank you, Taryn. Taryn is here and she said, perfectly said. Thank you. And so, how are you making sense of everything that's come up for you in the past few weeks? And I also earlier thought about kind of verbalizing some of the things that could be coming up for you by sharing some of the things that have been coming up for me. And when I, in this particular conversation, say, what's coming up for you? You might wonder, what does she mean? So it's okay if you've never been asked that question before, or if you've never asked yourself, what's coming up for me right now? When I talk about insight, when I talk about even download, some people call it that, or inspiration, or connecting to spirit, or divination, that's another term for it, right? When I talk about things that come up, for me, it tends to be sometimes a random thought. Yes, I want to make sure that I am present enough to make note of a random thought, because why did my brain go there right now, right? It's like a mental squirrel. Look at the squirrel over there. Why did my brain do that right now mentally? Deja vu. I want to know why I feel deja vu in this moment. So let me make a note of, when did I feel this way? What time is it? What day of the week it is? Right? Is it someone's birthday today? What is important about this day, and why am I getting deja vu right now? Or it's a memory sometimes. Like, randomly, I'll think about high school. And I don't know how you feel, but once I think about high school, visually, mentally speaking, I'm already in the building. And my brain, if I have the opportunity right here in the land of the living to go deeper into that thought, I will not just be in the building, kind of transported, but I will be experiencing whatever situation. And so I want to know, why is my brain doing this right now? And those are some of the things that come to mind to me when I ask myself, what's coming up for me? Well, I saw this and this and that, and I want to make sense of it all. And then something else comes up. Now, this question of what's coming up for you may also be you may also want to elicit a somatic response, meaning making note of what your body is doing. So, for example, sometimes we think of an insight, we get a download, we think of a memory, we think of someone in our family, whatever, however you're receiving this information. And because we are in our head, we don't notice that as above is happening something over here, and below our body is like shoulders tense up, or we have held our breath, or we are holding in our, tummy. Like, why? Like, let's just sit comfortably and have a conversation, right? And so those are other things that you can think about. Yes, Ron, absolutely. A lot can be said about the question of what's coming up for you. So ponder that, because what's happening this week will demand that we use our emotional intelligence. Oh my gosh, that face, Rowena. Rowena's sending the emoji of that, like, yay, like you're on a roller coaster. And Ron said that it's amazing how 4 years can leave such an imprint, and probably hormones and youth. I'm not sure what you meant by that, but you can explain it if you want to come up. And this is your Monday night ritual, Ron. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate that. Rowena says so much resonance as usual. Drama playing out in my women's group. Yes, there's a lot going on. And what Ron just mentioned about the 4 years, I think has to do with either Saturn or Pluto as well. Jessica Laniato in the Ghost of a Podcast mentioned this a few weeks ago. If when you listen to the episode every week, they all kind of just blend together. I totally get it. Thank you all for being here every single moon day. I love you all so much. Okay, so Mercury is squaring Pluto, and this is where the drama ensues. The moon is in Virgo until Wednesday, but Mercury and Pluto are already doing their thing. And the thing about Mercury is that it's the planet of our attitudes, our beliefs, our friendships, our communications. We've spoken about this before. And then Pluto is super transformational in kind of like the worst, most uncomfortable way. Pluto, let's see, the last time that Pluto was doing something like it's doing now, and this is how I explain it because I'm not an astrologer, right? This is how I put it in like plain English. The last time that Pluto was doing what it's doing now, there was the Cold War or Second World War or something like that. So Pluto is very intense, and Pluto brings transformation to the collective level, to the systemic level. So it is kind of very stressful times, I feel like. And if you watch the news and get in tune with what's happening, not just worldwide on the other side of the world, but thank you so much, Rodney. I appreciate you. Not just on the other side of the world, but here, like Florida just passed a bill that says that they're no longer approving or whatever. It's not allowed anymore to have an abortion after 6 weeks, but most women don't even know they're pregnant until after that. So most, you know, issues, life or death, threatening disorders with a pregnancy are discovered a lot later in a pregnancy than just 6 weeks. So like, this is a lot. There's a lot happening. I've said this 2 episodes in a row about how complicated the politics of this country are. So Pluto has a lot to do with that, and Saturn and Pisces and all that. Last week we had a little bit of a break, in like I say that like quotation marks, because of Saturn and Pisces and Mars and Cancer and how they would allow us to flow. But here's the thing. We take it day by day. We go 24 hours at a time, and it still sometimes feel like such a drag. How about everything that's happening out there and how freaking fast every single thing outside of our sky is moving? It is just so amazing. So, what might you feel this week? I got the scoop from Jessica Laniato's Ghost of a Podcast. And it's not fun. None of it sounds fun with Pluto doing its thing. You might experience a lot of negativity, paranoia, triggers, denial, a lot of discomfort around the fact that Pluto is going to be bringing up a lot of, it's going to stir the pot, not in a fun way. So, wherever you are in your journey, however it means for you to be, to push your buttons, what are your wounds? Oh my gosh, something else really big happening this week with Chiron, and Chiron is the endless wounded healer. He really highlights where your wounds are from your whole life. So if you experience this week a memory about something that truly hurt you while you were in preschool, if something like that happens this week, that's Pluto squaring Mercury and bringing up feelings that make you feel, are you going to feel helpless? Are you going to feel like, how do you handle being triggered? That's a great question to prepare yourself mentally for this week. What is the plan? What is your mental health toolbox? What are the tools within your mental health toolbox? Channy Nicholas on the Channy app mentioned self-care to the physical. So, do you need a hug? Is what's coming up making you feel like you need a hug? Because hugging someone for 20 minutes, yes, that's great. That's an exercise in mindfulness and the hearts connect and blah, 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 blah. But did you know you can hug yourself? And it's actually an exercise in a lot of the somatic work that has to do with healing the inner child and reparenting. So if you've never heard about that, look it up, because if your love language is touch, then you might want to possibly this week get a massage or feel like the comfort that comes from physical touch. How else do you like to take care of yourself? Because I feel like with an energy that kind of takes us through involuntary, you know, down memory lane of a roller coaster that then stirs up feelings, that then stir up emotions, that then stir up a feeling in your body. Is it heat? Is it sweat? Do you get cold? Do you get nightmares? Do you hold your breath? Do you get palpitations? So all of these things are the somatic part of everything else that's happening as above, right? And so I'm already kind of tired just thinking about all of it. And we don't want to be, right? We want to be able to function and still do what we need to do and still show up kindly and still show up in a compassionate way. So I feel like this week, more importantly, last week, one of the highlights was to say what you mean and mean what you say and not say it if you don't mean it, right? And I feel like this week, definitely that as well, but remember to really treat yourself with the same kindness that you would treat others, because this is going to be happening in your head, all the memories or the negative self-talk that Mercury and Pluto may ensue together. And so, what you're thinking, uh, the way that you're berating yourself this week, would you speak like that to someone? And then tell them that you love them. And would you believe them? Or, if somebody spoke to you like that, would you believe it if they said that they love you after they spoke to you that way? Think about it like that. How can you detach and make it a question? What are some other questions or notes that I have here? The moon then moves into Libra, right? Wednesday and Thursday, the moon is going to be in Libra, and this is when the full moon is happening. In the book, Moon Magic and Mindfulness with Grace 2023 Manifestation Agenda / Journal. You get to talk about all the things and journal. Well, we talk about all of it here. And in the book, you get to journal and, follow all of this. There's a misprint and it says the full moon is happening on Thursday. It's actually happening Well, it depends on how you see it. It depends on how you see it. Here's the thing. It's happening on Wednesday at 9 p.m. Pacific time. And Wednesday at 9 p.m. Pacific time, it's actually the future. It's actually Thursday for me in the East Coast. And so in the book, it's Thursday because that's where I am in the East Coast. But it really depends on where you are, right? And that means that if you're Rowena and you're all the way in Australia, or if you're Terry and all the way in London, then it's also happening either Thursday night or Friday for you, right? So that's interesting. And the moon in Libra, oh, that's another thing, right? It's the moon in Libra is also going to be kind of dramatic, and April starts eclipse season. So we're also going to be obviously diving into all of that in the next coming weeks. We have the first solar eclipse kind of right joining forces with the new moon and totally amplifying the energy of new beginnings and planting seeds. And that's the new moon that's happening on the 20th. So the full moon is already pretty intense, and it may highlight power struggles because it's Libra. And Libra is the peacekeeper. Libra wants to be, Libra is temperance. Libra is everything in moderation. Libra is, I want to respect your boundaries and also absolutely make sure that you respect mine. Libra is also the, again, I think I already said the peacekeeper, and that kind of comes to a fault. So are you being a peacekeeper to the detriment of hmm, your own point of view and to the detriment of the safety of your authenticity? Are you being a peacekeeper in your family or in your workplace because you are afraid? And what are you afraid of? Lots of things, right? So the moon in Libra is going to be stirred up astrologically, but fear not, because if you have a journal, you can write down these questions that the moon in Libra wants you to know. And this is for the moon on Wednesday happening, and on Thursday. Oh, Curtis wants to come up. Okay, let's go ahead and invite Curtis really quick before we go into the full moon. Hello, Curtis. How are you doing?
Good. How are you? You can
I'm
pull me
doing
up on
great.
video if you want to.
Oh, okay. Let's go ahead. Let's
Wait for
see.
you. Just in case anybody needs a hug. Yep, except there it is. Yep, we're good. All right. Well,
Hello.
hey, if you need a hug, little guy, this little teddy bear here will give you a hug.
You need a hug. The modern day hippies teddy bear will hug you.
That's right. Yeah. And just to even stretch on, with like what you were saying, I just wanted to read something really quick, if I can.
Yes, go ahead.
Um, it's the moon in Virgo, a time to give rather than take. When this card comes up, it's
Oh,
time for you
wait,
to
wait.
take.
I'm sorry. The moon is in Libra. Oh, wait, you want to read the moon in Virgo today? Yes, sorry. Go ahead. Please
Yeah,
continue.
that's because I'm always looking forward. That's why it's like, if you always need a hug, you can. No, but I appreciate you bringing me up. And I don't mind coming up. So, anyway, when this card comes up, it's time for you to take stock of your situation. Where are you? And where do you want to go? The energy of this card suggests a restart. Virgo also has a strong health aspect to it. So it just, I was just kind of paraphrasing some of the stuff, but
Some of
everything
this
that,
stuff by who?
yes. And your book is terrific. Your journaling,
Oh, Curtis, can you hear me?
yes.
Can you tell us what you were reading, please?
Um, I can, but it's not from your journal.
It doesn't matter. We want to know. Yes,
Moon.
Moonology. Thank you. Yes,
Yes.
by Jasmine Voland. I appreciate that.
Yep. No problem. And it's terrific, really. Um, anyway, so yeah, I just wanted to come up and say hello. Thank you for letting me up on stage. And I wanted to make it quick because I know we all have things to do. And
Yes, we're about to get into the full moon in Libra and all the
yep,
questions.
cool. So just drop me down.
All right, let's get to it, everybody. So, the full moon in Libra is again that temperance, balance keeper, and peacekeeper. So, how are you striving for that? And what does balance look like? It's kind of hard and complicated to strive for balance or to live a balanced life. And thank you again for coming up, Curtis. So, the full moon wants you to, well, not the full moon. The questions from the journal for you to take a look at are: how are my home and my public life aligned and in sync? And if you work from home, then your public life includes your social media life, absolutely, and any friends that you have to hang out with outside of where you work, which is home, and any communities that you belong to, mommy and kids groups, and PTAs and whatever. And, to align, at the bottom line is that to align things and for things to kind of have a place in your periphery, there needs to be an awareness of each of them. And with that awareness of each of them comes a recognition of what's there. Isn't that kind of logical? And when you are aware of everything and you catalog everything, it's kind of easier to really decide which way you're leaning towards and what resonates and what doesn't. And I get it. If you're a Libra or if your moon is in Libra, then you might struggle a little bit with being on the fence of certain things and not really being able to take a side. Libra is big in my chart as well. In fact, I feel like Libra is one of the reasons why I'm not really competitive and I just want to root for whatever the team that's on the court is winning. That's what I want to root for right now. And just cheer whenever everybody cheers and boo whenever everybody boos. And that's just me. And I definitely don't want to be out there if it's any contact sport. So that may be Libra, right? It's like, I don't want to choose. I don't want to fight. Let's just not talk about it. How are you keeping the peace and how are you doing that to your advantage and while respecting your own boundaries and while just, I don't know, honoring your authenticity, right? That's a lot. This full moon also is very concerned with embodiment because of Chiron. That's what I was talking about earlier. And how Chiron wants to really make sure that the wounds are highlighted so that then you take action on the healing. So, whatever comes up this week, you might not want to sleep through it and ignore it because it's just going to come up again and again and again and again until you get it. So, how are your home and public lives aligned? What are your emotional needs? How are you making sure that they're being met? And how are your efforts aligned with your vision or not? So I feel like that question can be fixed, like scrambled around or whatever you want to call it, because you really need to first identify what your vision is. What is your vision? Start with the most bizarre option of your vision, what you think is like the most unfathomable thing. I'm talking, your name in lights on Broadway or on Times Square. Like, what is the most unfathomable achievement that your line of work could, bestow upon you? And go from there. Right? Like that huge achievement is the bottom line, and we're gonna go back from there, bring it back to the present moment so you can maybe reverse engineer some of what you want to create and then manifest that outstanding, unfathomable thing. I say that with quotation marks, right? And then if you are following the book, you know that we love affirmations and journaling and doing all the things, right? Every moon day in the book, you get a page to journal and you get space to ponder some things and time block. Time blocking is huge. If it weren't for time blocking, I wouldn't be able to do all the things that I get done. Sometimes I take a 47-minute nap. Sometimes I take a 17-minute nap. Sometimes I take a 13-minute nap. And it's really thanks to time blocking and really counting my time and strategizing around that. So, the book invites you to do all of this. It brings instructions on how to do all of it. And on Monday today, it's the affirmation is I trust that my discomfort, which is of course all intertwined with what's happening this week and what's coming up and how uncomfortable it's all going to make you feel. I trust that my discomfort is part of the process into alignment and manifestation because in the end we're also this is a journey of manifesting things. And then the affirmation for the full moon happening in Libra on Wednesday or Thursday, depending on where you are in the world. um, I am willing to push past my comfort zone to manifest what I want to create. Are you willing to push past your comfort zone? And here's the thing about that affirmation is that to be able to say that and believe it, you have to bring awareness to what your comfort zone is. And at the same time, one of the ways that the comfort zone gets highlighted is by receiving the insight or the download or the negative or whatever, and literally ignoring your physiological or even emotional response. That's your comfort zone, probably, right? What are you avoiding? Is one of my favorite questions. I ask myself that question at least once a day. I'm usually scrolling or in the kitchen looking for food or outside looking at my flowers instead of working. And if it's a strategized break, then that's fine. But if it's not a break that I've already strategized, and I know that sounds a little bit, I don't know, very Virgo. Virgo is my ascendant. So this explains why I love to strategize and kind of thrive in procedural kind of I don't know, life. But if I didn't strategize my distraction, if I catch myself in the moment and I'm being mindful and I'm present, I tend to ask myself, what am I avoiding right now and why am I here? And it's a moment of I don't know, that parental energy that Saturn brings, wanting us to kind of learn the lesson. That's Saturn, right? And really like guiding myself, right? Redirecting myself to stay on task, which, life happens and it's not easy for us to stay on task sometimes. So there's a lot happening this week. Oh my gosh. If you would like to take a moment this week and journal and paint with me for the full moon, then join me on Instagram. I will be live Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time because Thursday, yay! Thursday at 3 p.m., I'm actually going to be here on Fireside with my weekly conversation with Kathleen about unlocking your personal grail. Her and I are doing the Arthurian Tarot journey, which is until 2024, March of next year. So that conversation will happen on Thursday. And because of that, I didn't want to do the full moon on the same day. We're going to do the full moon work on Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at songofmyself.ig. And let me explain a little bit of what that is if it's the first time that you're watching or listening or tuning in and you have no idea what what I mean when I say that we're going to paint and journal and do all the things. Um, Aside from the weekly journaling or the daily journaling that I totally recommend that you do, right? Like I keep like 3 different journals. You don't have to. One is plenty. And that would make me really happy. In this show, we like to journal, right? We answer those questions for the full moon and the new moon every month. So twice a month, we like to take an extra step to journal for those questions, and then we paint over it. And there's lots of reasons why we paint over it. If you don't want to paint over it, you don't have to. I like to paint over it because of lots of reasons. I may want to keep it secret and sacred at the same time. I may want to let it go and forget about it, commit to that. So you erase it, but you don't really erase it because you do it with a pen. There's lots of reasons why. And actually, I was like, one of the memories I got this week was when I used to take art classes every Saturday at the YMCA growing up. And my art teacher got me to use the technique of starting with a black canvas. So that means that you take your blank canvas, you paint it black first, and then you go from there. And it's almost like building from the vast nothingness. And that's actually one of the very first lessons I ever got in art and in painting. There's a few paintings in my home in Puerto Rico and here that I'm probably never going to show you. But I wonder if Curtis starts with black sometimes. But you don't have to paint if you don't feel like painting, or if you feel like you have no talent with the paint. And I say that in quotations because in this conversation you don't need any talent. You can also do stickers. This is for the full moon last month, and I did stickers. And we also take some precious time to paint, and I have a few of those. Thank you. I have a few of those all over the room, and then the book has enough space for you to paint. Do you remember the green comet from a few weeks ago? This is Rami Astro's picture. So we will be doing that live on Instagram. And what I love about Instagram is that we can also see each other face to face. And that's been really fun too. And I almost forgot too. Thank you, Deborah. Procreate is great for those feeling artistically challenged. Absolutely. You can do all of this however you feel like it. And if you are a Patreon, then you also have this on a PDF. And you don't need to journal on a piece of paper. Yes, you can do this on your iPad or tablet. We also have, because we're so close to the beginning of the month, we can talk about the pages in the month that the pages in the book that start each month, because there's a quote here that I would love to share by Johann Salimu, and it is, find your natural rhythm and harmonize with it. Georgia, I'm so happy you joined us. Thank you for being here. Find your natural rhythm and harmonize with it. This is very deep. And the reason why it's deep is because, and this is something that Daryl with the Dashes was talking about this morning, not in so many words, but he was talking about your heartbeat and how your heartbeat is completely unique to you, the same way that our voices are completely unique to us. And our heartbeat makes a sound that our whole body receives as a resonance, as a vibration, and it is unique to you. And they call it the buzzing, if you will, the buzzing sound, because it is constant, almost like a buzz. And when I read things like find your natural rhythm and harmonize with it, it just really reminds me to listen to my body, to respect my body, to follow through with what I say I'm going to do. For example, when it comes to my body, like something as simple as personal hygiene. So think about that in your own life. Or I'm thinking of getting a pedicure or a massage, right? We talked about that earlier. Or I need a nap, but I have to do all of this. So I'm going to forsake the nap and I'm going to go ahead and power through it, get a coffee, get an energy drink, and just do whatever it takes, right? That's not necessarily respecting your body. And you know and of course, if you have a job outside your home, then you have to follow the rhythm of whatever you are working with, and I totally get that, and I've been there. But at the same time, then when you get home, what are the boundaries that you're honoring? Are you pushing yourself too hard, going straight to happy hour after a full 8 hours of exhausting work? Does that sound like you're honoring your body and respecting your own rhythm and trying to harmonize with your own vibration in life? Not really. So this month, that's what's coming up. And there's just so much that I'm so excited to dive into this month. The eclipse season opens up, I don't want to say a portal, but eclipses tend to drag on the energy for about 6 to 8 months. So, what's going to start or unleash or open up for you after the new moon on the 20th is going to take 6 to 8 months to, I don't know, transpire, disentangle, make sense. I have no idea. Like, it affects every single one of us differently, which is also one of the most complicated things about astrology is that the full moon, the new moon in Virgo, the moon in Virgo, and all of these things don't affect all of us the same. And this is why it's very important for you to really take what resonates with you and ignore what doesn't resonate with you in a, neutral, not necessarily negative or positive way. Like, just leave it. Someone else will resonate with it, right? Leave it where you found it. So that's a lot. Huh. I've just said so much. And then we haven't even gotten to the worst of it. I'm kidding. It's not. Hi, Frankie. I'm so happy that you're here. It's not really the worst of it, but it's the moon in Scorpio. Dun dun dun. And you all know how I feel about Scorpio. Oh my goodness. The moon in Scorpio, I always kind of dread it. And this week is a great reminder for me to think about my own mental health tools, my toolbox, right? What are the tools that I'm going to access when the moon rolls into Scorpio and I get really depressed? Like, all I want to do is nap. And one of the things that come to me in a negative way is like, what's the point? I'm so dramatic. What's the point of getting up to do this or that? There's no point. None of it matters. And so it's a problem. If I were to listen to something like that, then I don't get up. And if I don't get up, then I don't have energy. And if I don't have energy, then I'm going to be in a deeper nap. And of course, I mean, my husband works from home. So at least Friday, if I were to not get up on Friday because the moon is in Scorpio and I'm on that depressed mode, then who's going to take care of our beautiful prince? So there's just a lot. Oh, Frankie, there you go. Yes, it's the change of seasons as well. It's everything, Frankie. There's so much going on. Politically speaking, you follow football and the teams and the games. There's just a lot of stress in the air, and it affects us emotionally if we are highly sensitive people. And if you're not, then, ponder what's coming up for you. The question of the week: what's coming up for you, and your own emotional intelligence, or hopefully this might highlight the lack thereof. Right? What's happening because you lack that emotional intelligence? Think about teenagers and how they could act out on a week like this one, or even children. Right? Toddlers at Luminary Parenting on Instagram is great for mamas like myself who have little ones. And yeah, everybody, fasten your seatbelts and brace yourself and get your provisions because this week is going to be a roller coaster. So yeah, I pray and hope that you're all, safe, and that next Monday we all show up with a big smile because at least we have each other. And even though it might be like really negative and unnecessary, we'll go through it together, and next Monday we will meet and it'll be like it never happened because all that matters is right now, right? There you go. So, with all that negativity, Siri's over here telling me that he doesn't understand. I say he because my Siri is a man with a British accent, like Terry. Let's go into our meditation, shall we? We have to 15 minutes to the hour, and I like to be respectful of everyone's time. And I'm so grateful that you're all here. Thank you again for joining. If you would like insight into the music for this meditation, check out the last link on my link tree. That is a free trial to Brain FM. They're just so amazing. I'm actually pondering doing a few posts about them because I tune into Brain FM at least 3 times a day. I oh, that's amazing. Deborah says I'm feeling like I'm in a great space. Will that change this week? So it may not change, because you may be in a great space because you are aware of the things that happen in your journey, and this is one of the examples of how things show up differently for everyone, is because we're all in different stages of our journey. And if you are aware of why things come up for you the way that they do, and why you react the way that you do, right? If you are in, on task with your level of emotional intelligence, then whatever happens astrologically may really not play a part. If you're not a highly sensitive empath, then whatever's happening astrologically may not affect you at all. I'm talking about all of these things with you all, and my husband has no clue because he is not affected at all. He's not a highly sensitive empath. He is neurodivergent in his own right, and he does his own thing, and he knows what his birth chart is, and we know about all of his astrology. But on the daily, he's not going to come into here and say, I'm feeling super angry today. Is Mars in retrograde? Like, he's never going to, articulate it in those ways. And that doesn't mean that what I was going to say is that we obviously just experience it differently. So it may be the same for you. I would love to hear from you next week and hear how this week transpires for you, right? That should be interesting, Deborah. So now you just have to come back next week and tell us. Yes, and Deborah says she loves Brain FM. Awesome. Yes, I know. I've been using this for over a year now, and every single day for anything. Hang on, everybody. Hang on. Am I here? Oh, am I here now? I froze there. How long did I freeze? Okay, Frankie J is clapping so you can hear me and you can see me. Okay. Thank you for that. I had a little miscommunication with my headphones. So everybody just sit down and relax, both feet on the ground, and focus on your normal breathing, nice and slow. Just be here now. And follow my lead as we breathe and meditate. With me, take a deep breath in through your nose. Deep, deep, deep breath in all the way. Fill your lungs. Hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let it out nice and slow through your mouth. Just slow breath out. Nice and slow. Don't push really hard because then you'll run out of air. Hold it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in again through your nose. Nice and slow, deep breath in through your nose. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and let it out through your mouth again. Nice and slow. And once you let it out, hold it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and just breathe normal. If you feel like gasping, that's normal. Just gasp. fill your lungs and bring your breath to normal. And in this moment, as your body relaxes and we ponder this moment together, I want you to imagine that you are sitting on the floor and in front of you there's an empty toolbox. And as you see that it's empty, what is the first self-care tool that comes to mind for you to place inside the toolbox? What brings you comfort? Is it a song? Is it a weighted blanket? Is it a food? Is it a place? That's a tool, and it goes into the toolbox. What helps you when you need to shift your energy on purpose? Is it a movement? Is it a conversation? Is it an animal that you want to spend time with? Whatever the answer to that question is a tool, and it goes into the toolbox. What do I need to meet my emotional needs? Whatever comes to mind goes in the box. And as you fill it in with all of the things that you are blessed enough to already have at your disposal for you to use for you, I want you to look at the box and ponder the gratitude for having those tools, being prepared, and hoping for the best. With me, take a deep breath in through your nose. Long, deep breath in all the way to the top. Hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let it out through your mouth, nice and slow. Long breath out all the way through your mouth. Hold it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in through your nose. One more time. Long, deep breath in through your nose all the way. Hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let it out through your mouth. And as you let it out, bring your awareness to your body and place your hand on your heart. And remember these affirmations. I trust that my discomfort is part of the process into alignment and manifestation. I am willing and able to push past my comfort zone to manifest what I want to create. I am so grateful for endless opportunities for growth and connection and understanding. I am grateful and blessed with support, community, and so much love. I am loved and held and guided. With me, take one last deep breath in through your nose. Just all the way, deep belly breath. If you're laying down, fill your belly all the way. Hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let it out through your mouth, nice and slow. Long breath out through your mouth all the way. Hold it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And one last breath in through your nose. Just fill your lungs all the way. Deep, deep, deep breath in. Hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let it out through your mouth. Long breath out. And slowly bring your awareness to your body. Open your eyes and come back to me. Oh my goodness. What a conversation. Thank you so much, Laura, for joining us. Ebony, Curtis, Frankie, Deborah, Rodney, Georgia, Rowena, Ron, Cecilia, Taryn, and Carletta. I'm so grateful that you're here. What a week ahead. I want to hear from you how you are doing after all of this. Georgia, thank you so much. You're so kind. And Frankie J also mentioned dark silent room with only light white noise playing. I love white noise as well, although I kind of prefer the kind of quote unquote white noise that goes like underwater. Like seriously, Frankie J, you have to try Brain FM. You'll never go back to white noise if you try Brain FM. You play both headphones and it's binaural beats and they stimulate your brain. The sleep settings are amazing. Deborah says she's feeling great and she uses Brain FM for her meditations as well. And Georgia said, I'm the best. And that is so sweet. Thank you so much, Georgia. And you're welcome to come up and share with us, Georgia. You have never come up to the mic and you're always welcome to join the conversation. Deborah says, you program for the iPad, but I use both. Yes. And I play it on the Bluetooth speaker as well for my child, but that doesn't really last long because he tends, as soon as I play music loud for him to hear, he starts requesting songs. It's like, oh, it's music time, then I'm going to request this and that, right? Like Baby Shark and other songs like Oh MacDonald Had a Farm type thing. And that's just not really the vibe of Brain FM, right? So yes, thank you everybody so much for being here. And if you buy the books or if you follow me on social media from the show, then I would love to connect. Just let me know who you are, and hopefully we'll speak again soon. Bye, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful week ahead. Anthony, you were here. How cool that you were here. Thank you for coming, Anthony.
It's no secret